Schlappening in the political world. Here to tell us is Matt Schlapp, chair of the American Conservative Union and a Trump supporter. Matt, I did not actually write that joke, so please, I apologize for saying it.
Oh, no, he loves it.
I think you can take it, though.
He's loving it. What are you talking about? Schlapp loves that joke.
Matt, we have been talking about this rift in the Republican Party. Who can fix it? Can one man fix it?
Clearly not. No, I think this is a really interesting question because we are having, you know that family you look at that looks so perfect and everyone's perfectly, they look like they never yell at each other. That's kind of what the Democrats look right now. The Republicans look like that family that's like all discombobulated and shouting, and I think we're not exactly putting our best foot forward right now, but it's honest. It's what happens in political parties at moments like this, and I think we'll get through it okay, but it's going to be choppy.
Matt, it's never happened before. It's not what happens in political parties. You never had a nominee waging war on his party from the precipice, from the heights of being the party's nominee. Donald Trump's like attacking some of the most esteemed figures in your party. So just tell me in what world is that politically helpful to Donald Trump and to the rest of the party?
I don't think it is helpful. I think it would be better if we talked about this central. I think Donald Trump is connecting with voters on these issues of the economy, lack of good paying jobs. What is our strategy against radical Islamic terror? And I think he's got the right approach on taking on Washington. The American people think that Washington is completely broken. If we stay on this track, I worry about our chances. If we get back on the issues, I think we got a fighting shot here.
But Matt, you're a Trump supporter, right?
I am.
Famously, right? So what explains, if it's obvious to you that this is not the right thing for Trump to be doing, attacking his party in the way that he is, what explains what's going on in his mind that makes him think that this is the right thing to do, either for himself or for the rest of the party below him?
Let's face it, we all know that, yes, he's running as the Republican nominee, but he's an independent guy as well. He's really occupying both those lanes. And when these Republicans took out against him after the aftermath of the tape on Friday, I think it upset him. There was a herd mentality. People bolted. And some of those people have come back, like Senator Deb Fischer from Nebraska and the Republican nominee in Colorado. And because they realized when they bolted from Trump, what did that mean? That meant that, what are they going to do, vote for Hillary? And I think that they're both realizing they need each other. And that's what I want the party to get back to. The down-ballot candidates need a strong presidential candidate, and that presidential candidate needs those down-ballot candidates to help him in those states. So in the end, I'm hoping this was a dust-up that lasted a bit too long, and we can get back to attacking Hillary Clinton and winning this race.
So, Matt, you're a compelling, persuasive, articulate presence, so we decided we needed to balance you out with someone who's even more compelling, articulate, and persuasive. That would be former Governor of Michigan, Jennifer Granholm, who now appears right next to you on our wall. Governor, let me ask you this question. How much of a problem do you think it is politically for the Clinton campaign, these now 3 days of WikiLeaks emails that have been dropped out into the public? They're getting asked about them a lot. There's a lot of chatter around them. They're trying to swat it down. But how big a threat do you think this is to her campaign?
I don't think it's, I mean, from what we've seen, there just isn't much there. So there's really not much to be worried about, it doesn't seem, certainly from what's been released. But I think the bigger concern really is, why is WikiLeaks dripping this out so slowly? If this WikiLeaks is supposed to be the entity that releases everything to the public, what is going on with this slow drip? I mean, it certainly lends to the suspicion that WikiLeaks is doing some bidding on behalf of perhaps either Trump through Russia, Russia through Trump. I'm not going to make a big deal about this because it's been said out there. We know the FBI has confirmed, I think, or at least has been telling the Wall Street Journal, which just reported that, in fact, the Russians are likely to be the source of the leak through WikiLeaks. But bottom line is, the drip is frustrating from this perspective. That Hillary Clinton is out there talking today about the child care tax credit.
Right.
I mean, Matt, we were just talking about this. She's going high. She wants to have people understand the policy. She was with Al Gore yesterday talking about climate change, which is really an important issue.
Governor, having said that, though, there is stuff in those emails that confirms a lot of suspicions people have about Hillary Clinton. I mean, even in the best case scenario for the Clinton team, what you learn in reading those emails, as my colleague at The Atlantic, Russell Berman, said, is that Clinton is very much a politician. The idea that she has a public-facing position and a private-facing position. The notion that the Clinton Foundation and then Teneo and some of the relationships that Bill Clinton brokered or that his deputies may have brokered. I mean, this is confirmation for people who have believed that the Clinton Foundation is somewhat corrupt or just not playing by the same rules, that Hillary Clinton is not playing by the same rules as we hold perhaps other politicians do. This would seem to be a sort of confirmation. Do you think the campaign needs to address that head on?
I think they have been addressing these suspicions ad nauseum throughout the course of the campaign, Alex. What they really want to do, and I think what people want to do, is to talk about what she's going to do for people once she's elected. Why is it going to be better for parents that she's doubling the child care tax credit? Why is it going to be better for millennials that we actually have a president who believes that climate change is real and is caused by humans and is going to, by the way, create jobs in the clean energy sector so that people can have them here as good-paying jobs in America, that she's got a super robust plan to do that. This is my particular passion, and I'm so excited that there was an opportunity to speak about that yesterday. And yet this, these WikiLeaks things, which I know is very beneficial to the other side because they can keep holding it up. But the irony about it, Alex, is that this report, for example, from Newsweek, from a reporter whose email appeared in this WikiLeaks batch, which was, in fact, manipulated. Right. So the email that comes out is not, in fact, accurate. Yep. So you can't even validate that these are true emails, and it gets back to the point about what the heck is Russia doing interfering in our elections. And by the way, can I just say one other thing that happened today, and I just want to make sure I say it before you end the segment. When you compare this, I have to say it, when you compare this to what BuzzFeed is reporting and now Time is reporting about Donald Trump saying that, over the weekend, there was the tape that was released saying that because he owned the Miss Universe pageants, that he had the ability to go in the back and inspect the merchandise. He didn't use that word, but essentially that's what you take away. And come to find out today that he was also doing this, walking into the dressing rooms of Miss Teen USA, where 15-year-olds are undressing to get ready for the swimsuit portion of the pageant. Right. There are women who were feeling, young women, girls, who are exposed to this man who's walking through. To me, that kind of stuff, where you talk about the character of this man, that is outrageous.
Okay, Governor,
yes.
I got to let Matt Schlapp talk for a second before we actually do have to end the segment, because that was an extended and passionate indictment of Donald Trump on a lot. Yeah, the fists are up. Jennifer Granholm's fists are up. Also, I'm really glad that it was you.
But not to Matt. Not to Matt. Matt and I agree that we should be talking about policy.
Schlapp, you have the floor. You have the floor. You have the floor to either defend Donald Trump, respond, attack, whatever you want. Go for it. Take a little time and go
for it. Nice. And I think the governor does a great job advocating for her candidate. But really, the candidate is her own worst enemy. Much of what we've learned over the course of the last several days were in the transcripts of these speeches. And why didn't she release those transcripts? Because those transcripts basically indict her for being the politician, John, that you just described her to be. Oh, I've got to have a public position, which is actually different from my private position. My private position is very corporate, very bank-friendly, very Wall Street-friendly. I'm one of you, wink, wink, nod, nod. Oh, yeah, those refugees, we really can't vet them. We have no idea who's coming here. That is an issue. Then she talks about trade and the fact that she's actually a complete free trader. She wants to have open borders. I mean, this is insane. This woman for 25 years has flip-flopped between being a progressive and being a centrist. She can't decide which lane to occupy, so she tries to occupy both lanes. She's a centrist for the corporations that pay her $200,000 a speech, and she's a progressive when she has to take on Bernie Sanders. I don't know which Hillary Clinton's going to show up for the general election, but I think she should actually start talking about policy instead of calling us all haters, saying we're deplorable, saying now I've learned that I'm backwards as a Catholic. She needs to stop the name-calling and start talking about what people care about.
She did not say that.
Unfortunately, Matt, Governor Granholm,
her senior staff did.
We have to leave it there. I'm sure this conversation will continue.